it's all cut out now, and I rearranged my workshop, made a bigger one. And what I like to do at this point is to quickly pin the stuff together to see if it fits. I use safety pins for this, but you could just as easily use normal pins. And you don't have to be very thorough with this. Just a few pins at a few places to hold it together, so you can make sure it fits before you put any more work into it. There's nothing worse than having a completely finished product and then realizing it doesn't fit. So let me try this on real quick, and then I will either stop doing this video or I'll continue knitting this together. Alright, we'll now sew this together with my trusted old sewing machine. I will not show you how to use this sewing machine in detail because it's largely dependent on the model you have. And I won't show you how to sew by hand because I'm not really good at it. I always had access to a sewing machine because my mother had two. And I'm really not good at stitching by hand. But if you have to or want to stitch by hand, there are great tutorials on YouTube I'm sure you can look up. So, let's start with one leg. And I'm using white nylon thread. Synthetic thread is fine as long as you don't plan on dyeing your fabric. Then you will need natural thread because synthetic thread doesn't take on the color when you dye it. But as I don't want to dye it, I'm fine with synthetic thread, and usually I use the same color of thread that my fabric is, but because this is blue and white stripes, I can't really do that. So white it is. And I will sew this one leg together. Make sure to stop at this point. And I will do first a simple straight stitch about 4 millimeters wide. If you want to, you can pin your fabric together. That makes it a bit easier to stitch. But if you are comfortable enough, you can skip that part and just stitch it together. I go a bit back and forth at the beginning of each seam, at each stitch, to secure the thread so it won't come undone. And again, at the end, I go a bit back to secure the thread. Now, you can too, if you want to, just put the whole piece together, the whole pants, whatever you are sewing, and then try it on again to see if it fits. But I'm pretty confident it will fit, and I'm also pretty confident that this here seam is right where it needs to be. So I'm securing it, I'm seaming it. For that I take my widest zigzag pattern on the machine and just zigzag the whole edge where the two fabrics meet. And that keeps the fabric from coming apart. Now, for the bottom of this, I will fold this over like this 2 times and then do a simple stitch on it. What you also can do, you can fold it over once, stitch it, then fold it over again and then stitch it again. That is a bit easier to do, but I'm feeling confident I can do this in one go. And this is again to keep the fabric from unraveling, gives you a nice clean edge at the bottom of this leg. So that finishes this leg. Let's do the other one. Let me show you what I'm doing from another camera angle. But in this angle you don't see an awful lot. It's not a very wide shot. So I will do this one additionally to the other one. And again, fold this over twice. Alright, now put those two pieces together. Now I have my two legs, and it's time to put those two together. Make sure your stitches will all be on the left side of your pants, so when you turn it around, you turn it inside out, none of the seams will be visible. Hope it's clear what I'm sewing together here. Those are the edges of the leg that are not yet sewed. Let me actually start here from bottom, so I can make sure that those two pieces meet exactly here, because that's more critical than having the two edges at the top meet. You will fold that over twice anyway, and you could easily cut it off if one piece was longer than the other. Let's start at the bottom. I want to do is I want to stitch this seam down on one side, so get two stitches holding this together. What you want to do ideally is put together like this, and then fold it together like this, and do double stitches on it, so it holds together real tight. But that is kinda hard to pull off. It's way easier just to stitch it down on one side, and this is the next best thing. I have to be careful when you're doing this not to stitch anything together that doesn't belong together. So make sure there's nothing under here. And once it's done, looks like this from the outside. Oh, this should fit. I'm confident. So let's finish up the top. Just like the bottom, you fold it over But what I want to do up here is I want to do a tunnel for this string to pull through. And if I fold this over double, and then I will fold it over to make the tunnel, and that would become too thick for my taste. So I will fold this over once and secure it with a zigzag. And this should be plenty to keep this from unraveling once I finish the tunnel. Alright, before I make the tunnel, I want to make two holes at the front of my pants for the thread to go through. So now you decide what is the front of your pants. They're symmetrical, so there really isn't that much of a difference. I want the more pretty seam to be at the front. Well, it's this one. Now, before I make the hole, I will seam the edges of the hole before I even cut it. So what I will do some zigzagging. I want that big. Yeah. We'll do some zigzagging along these lines. And then we'll cut it open. So. Not the largest zigzag, not a smaller one, so it will become finer. This should do it. I missed some of the lines, but no problem. Let me cut this open. Use some smaller scissors. And this should be large enough for the thread to go to, but not really for a knot. Alright, let me do one on the other side. We want to have a bit of space between them, so you can more easily make a knot. When you want to secure your pants. and I'll come back to you. Fine. Second hole finished. Now we will make the tunnel. Most people will make the tunnel and then pull the piece of string through it. You can do that by attaching a safety needle to one end and using that to pull it through. But what I like to do is I sew my tunnel around my piece of string, and I find that is just much easier to do. Only have to be careful not to sew onto your string, but that shouldn't be too hard, especially if it is a thick string. So, regular stitch. Let me change the angle for you. And like that, we are finished. And tunnel works just fine. So I want to have a bit of length here to be able to make a good knot. And this finishes the pants. Pull that to the right side. This finishes the pants. And that finishes the pants. As you can see, they're a good fit. And I've got a little bit of breathing room at my waist, but remember, I didn't wash these yet, so they will probably become a little bit smaller when I wash them, and then it should be a snug fit. Not at the legs though, because at the legs I want a lot of breathing space so I can move around freely in them. Remember, combat pants. If you wanted to make them tighter, then wash them first and then hook them on inside out and pinch them together at the side where your stitches are. That's the inside here, and secure them with safety pins so you know where you want your new set of stitches to be. Then go back to your sewing machine, stitch them down, cut off excess material, and you've got your new pair of smaller pants. Same thing with the bottom. If they are too long, you can just roll this up a bit and stitch it down, or mark where you want it to be, cut it off and apply a new seam to the bottom. So this finishes this episode of LarpWright. My next episode will be about how to probably age your new cloth, because of course your character will seldomly have a brand new pair of pants or a brand new tunic. He will be traveling with it through the wilderness. Maybe it has seen many battles. So I will age these pants so they look more worn out. Stay tuned for that. So that's it for today. Thank you and goodbye.